these AI agents are sort of on chain and they're interesting. They're doing weird things, but like they're not that valuable is like the honest answer. So talk about what you guys are doing with Mantis for users to sort of just do things on chain easily, sort of an easy consumer app, and then let the actual AI intense abstraction technology stuff just like work in the back end. So what is Mantis? How does it work?
Yeah, so basically, I would define Mantis as what it is at the moment. That is essentially a trading application. So we have been very focused on DeFi, how to abstract things for users for quite some time. It's not that we just like jump on the wagon of AI and agents and stuff. Now there's probably going to be probably the biggest narrative. I would say probably like for the next couple of months, Q1 2025, I would say. So our approach has been very like user focused and how to abstract things, how to simplify things, and how to, you know, typically you go to any decentralized finance application and what you see is what you can do, right? Is okay, I go to XYZ protocol because you can do that. It's not necessarily how you would then go to any other type of application, like not necessarily Web3, but also Web2. And say, okay, I would like to do something and go to this app because I'm a user and I have intentions. I want to do XYZ thing, and then I just go to this app and then I do whatever I want. Obviously, within certain parameters, not you have like a one app for everything. So that typically have been the way that like UX in DeFi like has been for basically since inception, which is very refreshing now that like a lot of people are actually randomly like talking about like agents that are essentially like bots. It's just like a fancy name. Um, so a lot of people, oh yeah, like now things are going to be simplified. Now things are going to be quicker. They're going to be more efficient because of agents. I mean, it's cool to see. It's also cool to see some of the things that you can do, but still, a lot of you know when this new narratives kind of like come, you have a lot of like fluff here and this and that, and nobody ultimately knows what's actually the thing. You hear about it, everyone's talking about it. Also, some people kind of like try to coin the terms or like say something, and they don't even like build something, or they haven't even like tried, right? So, like always like trying here and there what other people are doing, and essentially what it is now, at least more on the product side, on the like not necessarily considering like the tech or the different frameworks that you can have, is essentially again, it's just like a bot that you can just like customize parameters, but still it doesn't feel like something where users can actually, first of all, understand it, right? Because a lot of things, for example, are on Telegram. I mean, a lot of people use Telegram. Like I use Telegram myself, but a lot of people in the industry might as well. But again, how would you tell somebody, I don't know, some family member or a friend that they only use WhatsApp or something? Oh yeah, if you want to have, like your finance, financial revolution, your take control of your own finances and your own money. Yeah, you have to download this AI agent and you have to download Telegram and use it, set parameters and whatnot. And then it gets more clunky, right? Then it doesn't, it kind of like loses the essence that I believe or like we believe that this whole thing should do, right? That is actually like simplifying things, just not some like because it's basically adding like an extra layer on top of complexity as opposed to adding one layer on top to simplify, right? So, I mean, in this train of thought, that's essentially what we have been trying to do, again, as I said, since quite some time, which is great now that you have AI, so you can do this type of things, but also at the same time, like what's behind that, right? Like as in the technical implementation and also what's behind it as a like conceptually as a product. So on these two fronts, one on the technical side, on Mantis, we're utilizing different components that we took, for example, for the interoperability side, we utilizing IBC because Mantis is an L2 that we had to. So basically, it's an SVM where we did it in this way because we just wanted to like customize like few other things, especially when it comes to interoperability. Some components that you don't have originally in the in the in the core Solana implementation, let's say. So this was basically one of the main reasons why we decided to go with an L2. But for example, in this component, the bridging that happens between the L2 and Solana is IBC. IBC is a technology that many people know. It comes from the Cosmos ecosystem. We were the first ones to expand it to Ethereum. We also expand this to Solana. That also meant that you have now a trust minimized connection between the two major ecosystems at the moment, let's say. So, that was also very like, time consuming. There was a lot of work and there was a lot of like, especially this like invisible work that, typically users don't see. But in order to be able to have like a really robust project and robust product that, people can use and rely, that, that is safe, that is not centralized, that somebody, like gets compromised from the core team and then it gets hacked and then the multi-sig gets compromised and then you lose millions of dollars of user funds for no reason. So again, a lot of these components have to be there in place in order to be able to like have this, right? Also on the technical side, now what you can do in Mantis is you can trade tokens between Solana and Ethereum in a pretty seamless way. The way that we managed to do this like so seamlessly because we utilizing a solver network, so we rely on solvers to execute and settle these trades, which allows the user to have like a very seamless experience as if they were utilizing a centralized exchange, right? You can just like swap Bitcoin for Solana in 1 second. This is like maybe it's like not 1 second, takes a few more seconds, but you can easily swap. For example, you have like USDC on Ethereum and you want to buy WIF on Solana, you can do that, and it's pretty fast and it's pretty seamless, right? But then the question is like once you get there, like how you keep simplifying things, right? Also, part of my job is just doing the, all the UX and UI work. So I'm an engineer, but I kind of turned to like UX designer during, like this past many years already. So I was also like, like also like breaking my hands, like, okay, like how can we detach from this same box with the same drop down that you only have like different variations? What can be like the next, like how you can actually do that? Then of course, then AI came, like all the LLMs and this way of like just doing things and executing things. Well, more like getting information, right? Like that was kind of like how I would say, like on the user front, kind of like became like so big. I mean, of course, you can actually execute many things with other types of models and frameworks and LLMs. But again, for the broader public, right? For how people know it, how you see it in the news, how you see all these different things, like it's basically, oh, now you can chat now with like some artificial intelligence. You can get information. It can tell you things. It can tell you like, like anything. Ask anything. Like it will tell you things, right? You can learn. You can use it for like get insights. You can ask random stuff. Instead of Googling now, you can just like ask, right? Like any model, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Cloud, whatever you name it. And then start thinking, okay, like what if, like you can actually then like type or like kind of like construct or like compose this what we categorize as intent that is, again, it's just user expressing what they want to do as opposed to like the app telling them what they can do, right? Because the ceiling, how do you break the ceiling, right? um, because it's not only now for trading, right? Because again, the idea is just for you to go and like say, hey, give me the top trending tokens on Solana, right? And then now what you can do is that we have like a demo that will soon be public. Still tweaking some details, but now like the basic functionality is gonna be, again, for example, give me the top trending tokens on Solana, and then you see the top trending tokens, and you see, okay, like I wanna just take 1 Sol from my wallet and buy 1 Sol of each, for example. You can go and do that. What are the top 10 trending tokens on Ethereum? I don't know. You can do that, right? And then you go and say, okay, like, hey, buy them or buy the first two, or like do the other way around, on like do some cross-chain operation, or just give me some extra information about, I don't know, WIF, or about like any other goat or Mudeng or whatever meme coin. Okay, when was it created? Like how much is the liquidity? How much can I exit? What's the volume? Right? Like all these kind of like basic data for people to be able to like make like normal decisions. I know it sounds basic, but again, just as a user, try to do this utilizing only one app. Good luck, right? You have to go check Explorer, check wallets, check Dex Screener, Dex tools, see like all the different data. Some of them they allow you to like buy tokens and stuff, but again, it doesn't end there, right? Because this is already like just kind of like it's a reconciliation of what you can do like now, right? But again, the idea is not to stay there. The idea is to like, okay, then how can you actually like, expand this and make it like even more interesting for a user, right? Okay, you can get data, you can get informed, you can make all these decisions, but then what if I tell you, for example, that you know, you can do this for like more advanced users, and I will cover like a couple of examples to make the idea clear, but the idea, for example, for like maybe an advanced and a power user could be, hey, when I don't know, like when Bitcoin dominance drops X percentage, just go full on altcoins, just buy Sol or buy ETH, buy SUI, it can be like all these type of things, right? Or it can be the other way around, okay? Like Bitcoin pumps again to like 100, 120K, like probably alts will like bleed for a bit and maybe like park some stables and then after it stabilizes you go back harder or instead of like going like alts you go full memes. All this type of like conditional then what we call conditional intents, is conditional like actions that people can do that are essentially like limit orders that we also like enable very soon on the app and then opens up already like a new, like okay, like when this, then that, right? It's a basic function, but then after you have the understanding of like okay, if you have the possibility to like set conditions, or even you can ask like okay, like what type of conditions can I do? What type of like conditions are people doing? What type of like like it can be anything, right? When Solana hits 200, like do this, or when I'm up like 5% or the 2x, then sell. Or sell tomorrow 6 p.m. before Americans wake up because they're gonna sell. It can be anything, right? And then on that side, because then you can say, okay, like what else can you do, right? For example, I'm originally from Venezuela, so I live like I know firsthand what it means to have a worthless currency and have like not only hundreds but like thousands of percent of inflation. So I know pretty well what feels to have like like basically your financial freedom like completely like taken away. And then you can utilize these apps as an actual tool for you to like be able to like survive in a hyperinflationary context, for example, right? You can then say, I don't know, that you can utilize also these conditions to get your salary, for example, and then once you get your salary, you can set up some risk parameters, and then you can go and say, for example, once I get my salary, you can take half of it, put it in USDC and stake it on MarginFi or any other like lending platform on Aave, on Ethereum, whatever. Whichever gives me the best deal for stablecoins, go there. And if you need to rebalance, rebalance. If PYUSD on I don't know Camino Solana gives more, go there. Or if it goes to I don't know like USDT on Aave V2, do that, for example, and then you can like set up these things. It doesn't stay there because then now we're talking about like how AI actually can help people and users to like reach this level of like simplicity and abstraction that then, for example, imagine you just like chilling at home and you're like I don't know, like just watching some news and okay, like now that you have like all everything that's happening in the US, some bullish news from XYZ, Michael Saylor said this, said that, and then oh yeah, I had to open my laptop, connect my wallet. Imagine you just go and same way you can just ChatGPT is like, hey, give me my sorry, like just buy, buy anything, something, and then that's it, execute, yeah, sign, okay, done. Again, like that's also where we want people to be when it comes to like the thinking process of like the possibility you can actually do with DeFi. Again, it's just not like, oh yeah, let's make apps and ape and do this and do that. Okay, fine, that's cool. But again, especially again, also like few people in the company, like me, myself, and Omar, it's also, we lift also like some of the burdens of like, you know, the what it feels to not to be, like financially like free or independent, or like even then when I left Venezuela it was the same. Then you had to do KYC. Then it was not, some oppressive government or authoritarianist, territory, like financial everything. But then it was actually TradFi. That's basically like keeping me away from being able to like open a bank account immediately, because I had to go through some crazy screening process that lasted weeks, and I had to like live with cash, for example, when I went to Germany to do my master's there. So it's like really not, like what people think when it comes to like, oh yeah, like crypto, this and that. No, I mean, the way that we think is actually like tools that I can actually, like utilize. That's how basically I got into crypto in 2014. Like I was studying engineering and then I saw this, but at first I was not necessarily interested about the tech. Okay, tech sounded cool, but it was more like, okay, I'd rather have this crazy coin that goes up like 30, 40% than just going, having the national currency that you have like 100%, like 200, 300, who knows how much percent, like, of inflation, right? So, like I think it's also important to like kind of like clear where we're coming from when it comes to this, because then that kind of like makes people like, connect the dots, and then, oh wow, okay, like now it clicks, now I understand why you took this approach, why you went the full decentralized route, why you wanted to implement IBC, why you wanted to have a Solana SVM, why you want to rely on a solver network as opposed to like just doing it, like utilizing pools, for example, why you want to now utilize AI to actually, try to simplify things for users, and then expand this to make this an actual decentralized finance tool, right? So yeah, again, I just wanted to kind of like also like cover that because I think it's important, right? But yeah, that's kind of like the, like the whole idea, basically where we're coming from, and like all the different years that we have been working on this, and you know, always important to know where things are coming from.
So you were the sort of you were a co-founder, which then sort of like was like, okay, you have to do the designing stuff, and like all this infra is okay, now we need like infra stuff, and so you guys went down like the IBC route, and then naturally it's like you can have those rigid sort of infrastructure like uh uh smart contracts, but there's like a ceiling to that, and like you doing the UI, the UX, it's like it sort of is all the same, and you sort of have to like do all of the individual transfers, and like you're essentially conducting all the back end stuff as like, and even if you can make the UX super simple, it's like you still need to like, it's like transferring to multiple different banks and going to different accounts, and you have to go into block explorers, and like the 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 skill floor to even use that is like extremely high, just like basic stuff. And so then you have all this great infrastructure and like all this great potential for the infrastructure. And I think similarly with AI, it's like there's all this great potential, but what does it actually do? It's kind of just like we're gonna see. But actually using it for interacting with the infrastructure, abstracting it all away, and having it where now now the UI UX is sort of completely different than like what it used to be, which was like connect wallet, go down, like press swap, decide which chain platform you're on, and then transfer. And so I guess this is what Mantis is all trying to just combine and simplify together.
Yeah.
Uh, Talk more on the evolving sort of UI UX of crypto and what Mantis is like trying to simplify.
Yeah, that's good. Oh man, I love the question. That's actually, you hit the spot with them. Because again, that's usually something that people just completely neglect, and like is not discussed pretty much like anywhere. So those that made also, you know, my job like very hard, like many times. It's been like an ongoing battle, like trying to make people, basically preaching, like, hey guys, like, okay, smart contracts cool, like tech cool, blockchain's cool, but you know, I mean, it goes hand in hand as well, right? Like, obviously, without all this technical infrastructure, you cannot have these decentralized applications. But then also you can have the best smart contracts in the world, but if it's not usable, nobody will use them. Same way, if you have like a really amazing UX, and what you're utilizing is, it's risky, is centralized, or it just doesn't work, or it's like buggy, then it's basically the same, right? It wouldn't work. So understanding this first is important, because then again, it's not about, I would say, like putting one thing on top of the other. It's basically more like putting them on the same level and understanding that one cannot exist without the other, right? I think once you reach this, like mindset, then things become like way more clear. So on that front, I think I mentioned this a little bit like earlier. So again, just look at all the UIs, right? And actually, I made a funny tweet like yesterday or 2 days ago, comparing again, like I didn't want to like throw shade or anything, but like kind of like to make people like click. You have essentially like across like so many different blockchain, like ecosystems, like same kind of like applications. Of course, if you go to Solana, if you go to Sui, if you go to Ethereum and so on, you always have a DEX, you always have lending protocols, you always have like wallets and so on. And though like established patterns work, I mean, there are ways that are kind of like how they are, but you can always change them, right? That's actually like a bit funny when like Web2 apps or like social media apps, sometimes they have like some redesign, and then everyone is like talking about it, and it becomes kind of like a crazy, like when Apple, for example, like we did like the whole photo like app, everyone's, oh yeah, like wow, like why, like it's like so complicated now. And then, I mean, I usually like to see this and okay, like then actually try to use it, and it's like, you know what, this is actually better than before. And then you see like an old screen, just like, yeah, but now you cannot do this. But before you didn't even have this feature, you didn't have this option. So of course, these changes always take a little bit of like, it's like we struggle. We don't like change, as humans, even though the only thing that will never change that everything changes. So you have to always try to, of course, you need to keep it balanced, not go like full crazy, but like all these kind of like steps, just like kind of like going up like a little ladder, uh, they might involve some friction. There's always going to be some, little clash, some friction. It takes some time for people to get used to it. It takes some time for people to learn, like how to use an app again, like identifying new features or new functionalities that you can do and so on. Again, it's a digital product. Everything nowadays is a digital product. So many patterns, so many different ways of using things that, people also as builders and then as users, we have to also then keep in mind, it can also like go crazy. But yeah, just going back to the main point, the evolution is basically, like almost non-existent when it comes to UX and UI. As you said, it's basically the same button, the same box, the same drop down. Some put it on the left, some put it on the right. There are reasons. Some people argue, okay, you want to see first the number and then you see the asset, and people do it the other way around. The first thing being the asset, and then you focus on the amount after you selected the asset. So valid points, of course, you can discuss that. Amazing. But again, it's the same box. It's the same, okay, I understand maybe some people prefer to click, some maybe people but then you execute something like there, but again, it's just conceptually, as a product, as an application, you're basically the same, but just like just change the colors, change the font. Okay, cool, but like what can be the next, like where's the next product? Like what's the actual real like killer crypto app? It still doesn't exist. I mean, you might argue, okay, like, big exchanges, you have their applications and, you can use them and stuff. Like, it's just also like a saturation of features, right? Also, a lot of people get overwhelmed. So, like, again, you have to understand also, like, the actual core. I mean, it's not that you can just have an application to, like, do everything, but you have to, like, first define what's your, where you want to go. You can basically, what's your vision, as a product. Okay, you make this and then it will stay like this forever, or what, for example, Unisoft's basically the same since 4 or 5 years. It's the same again, like nothing against, amazing, it works, but then again, so it would be like this forever. I mean, like banks didn't have applications like 30, 40 years ago, and they came up with applications. Now you can use banking. Most of them are really bad, but some of them they try, then some other competitors come and okay, you can have an application for like I don't know Deutsche Bank or Bank of America, whatever. Then you have like Revolut, kind of like changing the game, right? Like it's always like new things. You can always like like stir the pot a little bit and like try to come up with something new. And again, it's like that's how we evolve. Check PayPal now and check PayPal how it was before, right? But it's always something new. It's always a new way, right? That's what I don't feel that you see right now in DeFi in general. Same table, the same box, it's the same frame, the same drop down, the same model, it's the same everything, right? So again, like who's trying to do something like different? And again, also like fun fact, I'm saying this, and if you go to Mantis.app now, you still have the same box and you still have the same thing, right? Because again, it's taking time for us to like actually develop something that is just not like a simple demo, but because we actually, again, we're trying to do something that will really like puts what I'm saying into actual a usable thing that people can go and try and it works, right? So again, when it comes to evolution, it's not that much there, to be honest, like sadly. Also, again, I still feel that many people in the space they basically don't care when it comes to like UX and UI. Um, I think terms are basically like misused often, too often. And it's just like again, it's sad to see. Again, I'm not saying that everyone should know about it. It's not everyone should talk about it, but even designers, like a lot of them, they just go. Also, the way that many builders they treat designers and how even like diminished they are. Oh yeah, just hire some designer, just pay him like few bucks and that's it. And then, of course, if that's your approach, you don't even want to think about it. You don't even want to have some sort of like feedback session or some A/B testing, some focus group, like try out the apps, like check analytics. You have now even you can do it with AI. You don't even have to hire people to have some focus group to try an application. Then of course, then you're gonna have that because if you go for like basically like the opposite of quality, then you end up with like some mediocre app. Then somebody will just like copy and paste. Somebody will see some okay, what's the reference application? Okay, cool. I make the box. I just let me just change the color. Let me change the font. Okay, bam, take it. It's done. There you go. You have your app. Cool. Like, and that's it. And it just stays like this. There's no follow up, no, you know. So I think it's also like conceptually like a lot of this. Like first of all, that then you will see it. You will see the impact of this in the products, right? So gladly now that you have like this kind of like new boom of like utilizing AI to do DeFi. It's cool to see that as a result of utilizing AI in DeFi, a lot of the experience will now get simplified, right? And then it's more like a now like a little like competition, like a nice healthy competition to see people trying to like do these certain things. But again, it's still not this holistic. I mean, I wish there are. I mean, I haven't seen like other project like doing more or less like what we do or like the way that we talk about it. I would love to see like 20 of them. Competition is good, it's healthy, especially in this space, very competitive. One of the things that I like. So you can see, you can compare, right? Okay, like an application that you legitimately think that it's gonna change DeFi, right? That your parents can use, that your family can use, that people in a country with hyperinflation can use, right? They see, oh yeah, like crypto, amazing, DeFi, okay, but what can I do? Like, tell me, it can become your not financial advisor, but it can basically tell you what people are doing. If you're more advanced, it can tell you, okay, like copy trade any whatever influencer on Twitter. Okay, fine, go and do it. I'm an expert trader. Then you set some your expert trader parameters, and then the application can also do it. But at the same time, you can just have like your really basic. Okay, you put my USDC and show me every day how much money I'm making. It can be simple things. You can go from the most simple to the most complex, but you can have like the same starting point, right? That is like the concept of a product that can fulfill basically what users want to do in a specific niche. In this case, it's financial applications that happen to be decentralized and people just want to use it. I think if we start thinking about it like this, also it helps to click, like what we're actually doing. Because a lot of people, I don't think necessarily like Not that they know what don't know what they're doing, but like like we oftentimes get like too lost in noise and in things and narratives and the shiny new next thing and onboarding the next billion users. That I hate that phrase because I don't know, like it's just I really don't like it. This is no, just be a little bit more, like down to earth, pragmatic, and understand what we're doing. We're not competing against ourselves. We're competing against, like these type of situations where like governments or entities don't allow you to have a bank account or, like have a crazy inflation. Again, things that I live myself. That's why, like if I feel that I can do something in this life, it's actually, like try to do something to fix the situation that I was in. And I still know many people that are unfortunately in this type of situation, right? So, I think the UX, all the user experience or the user interface components are probably the most critical. Like again, like besides like the tech, obviously, it should be like really like taken care. And the evolution now with AI to be able to like help in this journey, I mean, bring it. Again, it's just like AI is not gonna, like fix DeFi or like fix all the problems, but it can definitely help to fix the problems that make people leave DeFi or not feel like, interested in actually utilizing this type of tools. So I think that's, like in general, right? Like basically my 2 cents about the current state of UX in DeFi and UI. Basically not in DeFi, in the whole industry also.
Could you talk about the sort of step by step, the user pattern of sort of 2021 cycle, sort of user experience where you have to have like a laptop, you have to have like a wallet, open up a browser, sign transactions, versus what you guys are doing with the consumer app on your phone where it's just enabled by AI? Can you just compare the sort of the new design, the user flow of all that?
Yeah, that's a good one. Because again, if you think about the intent, right? Like the what the user wants to do. What was the boom? I mean, I remember like DeFi server like crazy. It had like, all these apps popping out, like Germ, Balancer, Uniswap, airdrops and whatnot. Then also something that is very human, that also like, like I also connected it sometimes also the reasons why also like I ended up like working in this industry. It's like when you have a need or when you have like a really, really big desire to do something, you will ignore every single like possible obstacle for you to like actually go and achieve it, right? So if your obstacle in this case is like trying to escape hyperinflation, you even if you don't know English, you will somehow download a wallet, like set it up, throw some money there, ask somebody, ask somewhere, some forum, internet, YouTube, you will manage, right? Same way if you go, like, especially in 2021, and if you see that some crazy liquidity pool, you have like 20,000% APY, you will also do whatever to like just go into this pool and just like throw all your money there and like try to make some money, right? So a lot of this like happened, especially like, like around like DeFi summer days. I mean, I remember like clearly. So people necessarily didn't necessarily care about like they just care about the outcome. They didn't care about the ways, right? So, but of course, like everything moves and evolves and changes. Um, so then people, okay, like at some point the APYs were not that crazy. It became something like a little bit more like sustainable, and like applications were like more established, and they had some user base, and people then started to understand like the actual value of DeFi, the different tools or the different, like financial applications around it. So after that, people kind of like it's not that they became picky, but they started to see like because then of course like as something in the industry is growing, you have like more people like bringing new ways, right? So of course, like new protocols, new networks. Also, for example, like different networks, they have like different traits and allows to have like different UX components. For example, if you look at Um, Polkadot is actually one of the things that I actually like there is that you can have this figure of the existential deposit that you can always leave some dust in your wallet uh, so you can keep doing operations, right? And so it was kind of like a thing that many builders kind of like already understood. And so if you hit max, sometimes you do it unconsciously. Sometimes, oh yeah, I stop everything, I'm out. And it's the token that you need to, to pay for gas fees, for example. Then you're done, and then you need to bring more, reach more, send more. In other networks you don't need this, and like different networks, different trades, different things. It translates into the UX. So of course, more people, like try to do things a little bit different. Some people try to like, like have like a little bit more curated experience. Again, what I said before, the networks being different, allowing some extra UX improvements here and there. Then as a whole, we all evolve, right? Like, like then you start seeing more curated UIs, like more established patterns, more informational. You have like steppers, then you have like, applications you can do things like bridging, like the core component also of what we do. So like the UX kept improving a little bit more, but still everything isolated, right? I oftentimes like thinking about this concept of kind of like, it's like functionality segregation or like kind of like domain specific, but based on functionality. For example, you know what you can do in Uniswap, you know what you can do in Aave, you know what you can do in, like any other protocol, that in any other network. You know more or less what you're getting, and you know what they offer, right? But if you then still don't have like a place where you can not even get information. I mean, some people I know that try to use like AI to like get crypto insights, but still, it's not the same because you're still not connected to like actual, for example, like on-chain data, things like that. That's basically part of what we're trying to do. Very desktop oriented in the beginning. Mobile experiences, though they became like better, they still I think the only application that kind of like made it like properly, besides from wallets, because we have to make the differentiation from wallets to actual apps where people can do things. I would say Moonshot probably because they allow people to do what they wanted to do, right? Okay, I want memes, I want to do it fast, I want to do it easy. I don't want to open my laptop for like and look for like 10. No, curate me the memes and I choose. Okay, I like dogs, I go for the dog. I like Mudeng, I go Mudeng. I like whatever, right? Like that's it. Just make it easy for me. Like why have to make it so complicated? It's like no, then this, go deck screener. Like, try to navigate there. Like check, the trending tokens marquee. Then you have like trendy but not tracking, the trending but not trending. Then you have like the biggest like market cap, but it went up, there's no liquidity. It's too much noise, right? People don't even care. It's like, okay, can I buy the dog with the hat? Yes, no. It went up the dog with the hat? Yes, no, okay, fine. I'm right or I made money. Great. So they got that, they understood that, and they basically gave people what they wanted. And that's it. They want to Again, it's by memes, then you go for it and then you buy the meme. Like, it's not necessarily that deep. So now I think, thanks to that, a lot of people, understand now that doing crypto is actually not that complicated. It's actually easy, right? Same way you just go, like, also sometimes we kind of like, I mean, I understand like some issues are there. Like, also depends how much you want to go when it comes to like for example, things like KYC, you still have to register, you still have to like put your email accounts, sometimes you have to verify you're in Web2 apps. I know this is like one point for debate. I also believe in privacy. I also believe like in every fundamental core feature, but a lot of people don't even care, right? Like a lot of people just want to, again, just want to buy the dog with the hat, right? Then it's also as a builder, we have to understand like these things we sometimes like make them a blocker when they're actually not. And because then ultimately, I mean, people are free, right? And ultimately, it's up to them to do it or not. And again, you give them the freedom to choose what they want to do, right? I mean, that's the whole point in the end. That's the whole, like thesis of what we're doing. So after seeing all this evolution, after seeing like the same box that just basically didn't change much, and besides some extra improvements here and there, I think it's time just to change this from the ground up. And again, like not necessarily in the way that we're seeing like now of like again just having to go to Telegram bots and all of this. Again, nothing against. I find it amazing. It's great. I even play the hamster game myself. Like really cool, right? It's fun. But again, like who's making something that again, like your parents can use, or like your grandfather can use, or like your no non-crypto friends, right? Like whoever, like your teacher, it can be anyone, right? Like, so that's basically like what we're trying to do here, and basically the way that we're trying to do it is just utilize AI as a translator, because once you have like, all the components that we said before, like once you have like the interoperability, you ensure that all systems are like this part is like completely secure, that is everything is private, decentralized, there's no third party risk and so on. Then you can then think, okay, like the infrastructure is there, then how, then what's the next step? And the next step is simplifying, for example, in the case of the trades that we rely on solvers as opposed to pools. Okay, next step, right? That's cool because now you can swap ETH for Sol in seconds without having to like utilize another app to bridge or anything, right? Now you can get information from the app and you can get the trending tokens. You can see what people are doing. Then you have like all the social components on top. You can then, you have your username. You can then see what people are doing. They can always opt out to remain private. But if you do it, then you're incentivized, right? People can then share from referrals, and I'm a good trader. People can copy me, or people can just like see my trades and like what I'm doing. I'm checking this, I'm following this person, doing this. Like it's also like different components that we're also like trying to add up to the app. Again, to make it fun, right? Because you can always make things a little bit more fun, a little bit of gamification, a little social fight. But to the core, like the main thing remains this abstraction layer. That for this we're utilizing AI. The idea would be for people to go and say, okay, again, I have Ethereum, I wanna buy with, I wanna go show me the top 10 trending memes and I can buy them. That's it, like just utilizing your voice, just typing it, from your phone. Again, you can share this and like, hey, check this crazy prompt that I did the other day that is actually making me money, It's not sharing trades, and it will be about like sharing prompts. Okay, I always tell the AI to give you the top 10, then they take the first five, like put one sol on each, and then after 24 hours sell them. Give me the newest coins, the memes that came from pom.fun, for example, and then you have this prompt, and then you can share it, then you can, make money out of it. The more times people use your prompt, you make money out of it. Like all these different components that, again, is just giving people what they want, right? It's just like a decentralized application where people can just go and utilize it. And again, you don't have to buy memes. You can just do it in a really conservative way, which is also fine. But again, why not doing something that is also open for different type of users, right? Because everything looks for like power users. We exclude people like, I mean, I know it's like a term that we use in the industry, but I know it's, like normies, like neglecting, like, oh yeah, you don't know how blockchain works, ew, go away. It's like, man, we need these people, right? Like, we want the adoption, we want the 1 billion users. Just try to like make things a little bit easier for them, right? Like, again, now everyone's using AI. A lot of people already got used to the way of like utilizing a chatbot for basically anything. Why not also utilizing this for finance? It just happens that it's decentralized. People don't necessarily have to know that utilizing a blockchain on the backend, right? Like, again, it's also about like understanding, right? It to then be reflected in your product. We will be reflected in your experience and in your interface. So I think understanding that was kind of like what we got right in the beginning. You can always get many things wrong, but if there is something like that you can get right, in this case, I think we did. That is basically having this as a core, like vision. And I'm really happy that like now we got this demo, like things are working, solvers or the interoperability is there, the infrastructure pieces are nice and working and good, and now it's basically, I would say, like not the grand finale, but like basically the ultimate experience, I think, is around the corner. Again, which makes me really happy because then finally people will be able to understand what we want to do and how we want to do it as well. So having the AI component definitely sounds nice, but it's not something that just we just slap it like now just because everyone's talking about it. Because it will definitely like make things easier for people and for DeFi and having this in your mobile app, like a really pragmatic design. Okay, just like the ChatGPT, right? It just works, right? You don't have to make things complicated. Like simplicity wins. Like less is more, and I know it's like a almost cliche phrase, but I mean, to the core, it just works, right? You just go, okay, like just chat. Like why I have to like go on like the boxes, put the link, put this and then that, then you lose the thing. Just check again, like Moonshot, it's like three tabs. Deposit, buy, check, sell, out. Like it doesn't have to be that complicated. Like, no, throw this and put that so people know. People are not stupid. There are many stupid people, people are not stupid. So if they want something, they will go and do it, right? So I think again, like understanding this is important to be able to like develop like proper experiences that people want to do again, or they have like a nice feeling after they do it, and they feel happy. Oh yeah, like nice, I'm gonna use my app, then all the when you use an app, you have the dopamine hit and everything, because they're happy because they're using an app that they like and they can do what they want. I think if we generate this will spread like naturally, and then we can actually have like like a new wave of like new users. Like it's not retail to like milk them with like exit liquidity or anything, but it's actually users utilizing apps, right? And like getting introduced to like just a new wave of doing finance. So that's basically to the core. If you get it like this, then I think you should be able to have like like just a better experience overall.
Yeah, there was sort of these super apps, I guess like Phantom Wallet and Trust Wallet are one of them, where it's like the wallet, you see like I think it's like seven different tabs. It's like staking, swapping. You have like the browser, you have like your portfolio, you have like all these other things. And it's pretty complicated. And so going from like a super app with like a million tabs with just like a couple and like just type anything you want and it'll just do whatever you want. That is that's like completely different. You guys call this DeFi AI.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting, and it's not like it's not like it's a bot. It's like you are just telling it what to do, and it's a I think like the translator. It's like a is like the best way you talked about it. I feel like it's like anyone can just like type in the terminal of a computer and like it just like gets it and just does it all for you. I think that's like the best idea. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about? I feel like this is a good point to wrap up on. Is there anything I missed? Any misconceptions?
No, I think it's good. I think I mean, again, I know, like, sorry also for like perhaps like deviating a bit from your regular content. I know that's like more technical, but it's just like now at this point, I believe I'm like a preacher, like every time I have like a any type of like stage, I mean, it can go technical or not, but like I always try to, like make people understand that, like you can go like full technical or everything, but then in the end, somebody will use this, whatever you're building, right? But no, I mean, I like what you said also, like, not like now, because the, I mean, just to the core, right? Like how it's like, again, it's like how we think about things, because sometimes, like, of course, again, as we said before, like things evolve, and for example, we have like these super apps, and what you said, like some wallets are doing that, but then again, um, it's you send this to like a friend, okay, what's taking, what's this, what's that? Yeah, like blockchains. You have first of all, you have different blockchains. One of them is like proof of stake, and they have to like stake. And then you get people like, but where's the money coming from? It's, yeah, but like there are validators and they actually take your money. So what do you mean they take my money? Like then it's like a whole different. Um, so yeah, like I think when the how to say like it just I mean it's not like not informing people what's going on, but I mean just think about it, right? When you pay with a card, like in a terminal somewhere, you do you actually know how the Swift network works? No, right? So, but you still use it, right? And that's kind of like the the way that I want people to think about it, right? Just utilizing something without like having to utilize it. Um, so then again, when you think about it, and also I really like the analogy with the terminal because that's essentially what it is, right? You go on terminal, it's like you start like typing, you go code, you type functions, you declare your variables, and you make things happen, whatever you want. Then why not doing the same? I mean, that's what it is, right? You're declaring variables, you're declaring functions, if else statements, and that's it. And on top, it will give you the information that you need to be able to get it right. And again, I think I think it's very simple. I think we just like make it like stupidly complicated, which is fine. But I think to the core is understanding the power that these applications can have, and then after that, you know the understanding the power that that also the user has, right? So then after that we can we will be able to grow as an industry, like our products will grow, we can have some nice healthy competition, and again just make things easier for people, and again try to understand that we're not in this echo chamber like all the time, like we just talk to each other. It feels like we just like fighting here, and there's we have the whole world, this huge pie that we are not growing, because we just hear like, oh yeah, my tech is better than yours, or my app is better than yours, isn't it? Okay, but then just get the users there, make it easier for them to go and use it, like that's it. And again, I'm really excited for this year. Again, now that the pieces are aligned, that the pieces are there, and we will start rolling out all these features that I mentioned before on the core functionality, and then seeing people using, like then getting feedback from them. I mean, it's not that we're gonna get it right; it's not gonna be perfect, but that's how you grow, that's how you change things, and that's how you improve. And especially if we say that we all so decentralized and open source and everything, then let's involve the people. Let's build the products with the people, right? Let's ask them. We never ask. People typically don't. Oh yeah, what do you think? Like it's really rare. So and I'm not saying that it's not happening, but let's do it more, right? And I think once we start doing this, our tech can improve, right? Because then people will use it more. Maybe you can again, it's a little bit hard to say because it can be a little bit abstract, but like once you have again like more people using the products, and maybe the type of products will change. Maybe it can be anything. That's why it's nice to be in this industry to see there's so many developments every single day, and it's hard to predict the future. But I think some narratives can come and go, but I think this one will stay. I think DeFi, however you want to call it, will stay because, again, this is essentially DeFi. I mean, the core, like not well, not saying that blockchain technology can be used for anything else, but most of it is there. And like once you improve this, then it can be like another huge catalyst for people to do it, right? Um, but again, I hopefully that we will see it sooner than later, and I'm gonna be a really happy person when this happens. And I hope like many other builders in the space also understand this, and maybe we can start having. Maybe we see like same way that we have hackathons. Maybe we can have like a I don't know, a UX ton or UI ton or a product ton or something. Okay, like come up with decentralized app for anything, but just give me the concept and actually show me the app. Contract and the non-contracts, like just show me, let's think, let's conceptually, come up with an application that people want to use and um, so I would keep preaching. I will keep, trying to, spread the word a little bit on this front. So obviously, like, also thank you for the time. It was nice to also share the stage and talk a little bit you know, our different approach, everything that we're doing at Mantis, like composable and, a little bit of here and there, like product.
Yeah, I think everyone has infra fatigue, and sort of we had these old models of interacting with crypto, and sort of like it's insane that we sort of do the same thing over and over
Yeah,
and over again, and we don't realize that maybe the things that we value, maybe like wallets or the whole private key situation where you have to keep these words, and if you lose them all your money's gone, that was core to like crypto, that's core to Bitcoin. And we're realizing that like you don't need to have all your money on these words, and if you lose them forever they're gone. It can still be crypto, it can still be decentralized. We're now starting to question our own values and realize, oh, we can like do it this way and it still is good and it's way easier. And so having getting away from sort of the laptop first experience, going more into like mobile, just like do the thing that you want to do. It sounds kind of simple and basic, but like we have been going insane trying these same rigid systems over and over again. So I think that was a good chat. Anyways,
pleasure was
thank you
mine,
so much,
sir.
Miguel.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Uh, Mantis is definitely cool.
Thank you.
Anyways, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Hope to see you soon.